Welcome to Flow with Atashi. My name is Nuna Aslanian and I am the founder of Atashi. So today I want to take some time to talk about the luteal phase in the menstrual cycle. The luteal phase is the longest in the cycle. It's going to last about 10 to 15 days. It does start after your ovulation and before your menstrual cycle starts again. So it is the last phase of the cycle. A lot of people talk about two different parts of this phase, so I'm going to talk about both parts, and for the purpose of this video I'm going to refer to it as the early stage and the late stage. There are 4 phases in the cycle. It starts with the menstrual phase, then follicular phase, then it gets into ovulation, and the last phase is luteal phase. To put it simply, there's a few changes in your hormones that are going to impact your luteal phase. Coming in from ovulation, estrogen has just been really high up, and estrogen is a hormone that makes you feel good. It's the friendly hormone, it's the happy hormone, and it starts to go down, and progesterone will start to increase. With progesterone increasing, you're going to feel a higher sensation of relaxation and calmness, but that can also lead to sadness. There's a lot of other hormones at play, and I personally don't know well enough to mention all of them, but I can tell you that everything playing all together just creates a more stressed out version of yourself. So it's much easier to become irritable, it's much easier to get anxious, and in the early stages it just is starting to show signs of it, so it's still somewhat manageable. And as most females have probably experienced if they're keeping track of their cycle, the later stages are definitely the hardest. On top of that, with some of the other hormones at play, you're also getting a lot of water retention and a lot of bloating and fatigue. So the body is going through a lot of stress at this moment, not just physically, but also mentally. There's a lot going on that is getting in the way of being happy-go-lucky, unfortunately. So if you've heard of PMS, that is what the late stage of the luteal phase is. PMS stands for premenstrual syndrome, which essentially is everything I just mentioned. So higher irritability, a lot of fatigue, more bloating. Some people experience pain, whether it's back pain or cramping. A lot is happening in the female body at this point, and it's for a very long time. It's like 10 days, give or take. Some people it's 15 days, depending on how long their cycle is, but it's a long time of the body being under a lot of stress, as well as the mind, which is why a lot of people say that during this time a woman needs to be relaxing, taking all the time she needs for herself, ideally not working, not having really important business meetings, not having really important things to take care of. And this is a time when we should be getting help from others, whether it's at home, from our partners, or from our friends, or from our coworkers. Like, this is the time to be getting assistance and to be giving ourselves and our bodies time to relax. I think once we're aware of this happening in our body, it's a lot easier to be kind with ourselves when we are feeling more irritable during this time. Progesterone is doing its thing. It is creating this calmness, but also creating this extra feeling of like sadness or stress or whatever it is that it creates in you. It's easy to understand it and be forgiving of it once we know what is happening, which is why I wanted to make this video, because it's not fair for us to not understand what's going on in our bodies. And I'm not coming at this from any like scientific standpoint. This is just some research that I've done on my own. I've been listening to so many podcasts. I read a lot to understand what the luteal phase is, and I just try to watch videos and understand what other women are experiencing. This is just some basic facts that I've pulled together for you guys that you can find anywhere. I'm not necessarily giving like medical definitions of anything, and I'm sure there's so many people who have so much better versions of explaining how this works, but this is my version of it, and I wanted to share it so you can have a little bit of an understanding from just a normal girl who wants to make clothes but also wants to understand how the female body works and how I can make better clothes to cater to your body. And speaking of your body and the changes it's facing physically, bloating, like I mentioned, is huge in the luteal phase, and it's just water retention. It's not necessarily that you're gaining weight. Bloating, yes, although it's annoying, it's happening for a reason. There's a lot that we can talk about as to why it's happening, but it's absolutely normal, and it does not mean that there's anything wrong with your body. So this increased bloating is exactly why I'm creating the luteal phase bodysuit, because I want you, even though you're bloated, and it's okay to be bloated and it's okay to understand why you're bloated, you still want to feel good about your body during this phase. It's not fair when we already have so much in our head telling us that we look bad, and on top of that, putting on clothes that kind of emphasize that sometimes is not fun. I want to state again, there's nothing wrong with bloating, but it is okay to still want to feel good while you're bloated. It's okay to pick pieces that are gonna make you not feel bloated, because it's not fun to look at yourself in the mirror and know, like, that's not necessarily my body, something's changing in it right now, I just don't know what, and I don't know what to wear. And I wanna give you guys the pieces to wear during this bloating. While your progesterone is going up and you know that that's what's happening, you know that's the reason you're bloated, but you still wanna look good. And that is why we're gonna have the luteal phase bodysuits. I am creating 2 bodysuits for the luteal phase because it's so long. That was a quick synopsis of what's happening in your body during the luteal phase. Just a reminder, progesterone is going up, estrogen is going down, so it's absolutely normal to feel a little down and not feel your absolute best and to need more relaxation and more time for yourself. Because the best thing is, although this happens every month, so does ovulation, which is when we feel our best. So that's definitely something to look forward to. Yes, it's for a shorter amount of time, but that's okay. Luteal phase is just a time to slow down, to understand what's happening in our bodies, in our minds, in our hearts, and to give some extra love to ourselves. And that is never not worth it. I know it's not always easy to be this positive about it, and trust me, I'm not always positive about my luteal phase. It's always something that kind of stresses me out in the beginning, and it takes a lot of work to try to find beauty in it. But I think it's possible because it's what our female body does every single month, and it does it for us. So it's definitely something to appreciate, and I will happily make bodysuits for you guys to find beauty within your body during one of the hardest times of the month. And don't worry, my bodysuits are coming soon, and they're gonna be there for you during your hard days of the luteal phase and during the entire month. But I wanna be here to support you in your process emotionally and mentally, and I want to have my bodysuits for you so you can physically feel great as well. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this taught you a little bit more about the luteal phase, whether it's for you or for a loved one. Please keep researching if you found this interesting and learn more, learn as much as you can about the luteal phase. And I promise you it's gonna make life a lot easier if you are a woman or if you know a woman. It's definitely worth learning about. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And my videos on my next 3 samples are coming up very soon, so keep a lookout for that. And I will see you soon. Bye.